there is a car in there. I have just peeked through the gap and there is a car in there. So this is the first reveal. What have we got? Oh my word. Wow, that is old. Now before we get into today's video, I want to talk to you about Vehicle Score. Now Vehicle Score is a free vehicle checking service which you can visit by going to vehiclescore.co.uk or downloading their app. Now if you're looking to buy a car, make sure you put your reg through Vehicle Score. By doing so, you'll get a unique score to your car which you can compare to the ones in Vehicle Score's database. Now Vehicle Score gather all the information on your mileage history, the MOT history, and break it all down to give you a unique score to that car, giving you lots of free information to help you buy your next vehicle. It will highlight issues with the MOT and any advisory issues. It'll tell you there's been a spike in mileage recently. Also gives you lots of free information about the vehicle itself, lots of data. Also gives you an estimated valuation. Lots of other great products such as saving you money on your car insurance, breakdown cover, and all this information is completely free. But if you want to go that bit further and have your car HPI, their check service is one of the best out there. Making sure it's free of finance, making sure it's never been involved in an accident where it's been categorized, maybe it's been for a salvage auction as an uninsured loss, something that is really, really common. It'll make sure it's never been used as a taxi, never been imported or exported or had a change of color. If it's got a hidden past, Vehicle Score's check will find it. The checks are some of the most competitively priced out there. They start from less than £10, but don't worry because you get a discount for being a Car UK viewer. Simply use the promo code on screen now and you'll get an additional 20% off your paid check. Plus if you pay a little bit more and get their refund cover, if your vehicle turns out to be a write-off or has outstanding finance on it, has been salvaged or imported or exported, anything like that, and they will refund you the cost of your original check. Something that is completely unique to Vehicle Score. No other checking service, I believe, does that. You can find the link in the description for Vehicle Score. Make sure you download the app today and use Vehicle Score when purchasing your next car. More in all, welcome back to the Car UK channel. Right, so something interesting this morning. We have the opportunity to go and have a look at a classic vehicle. Let me tell you what's going on. So basically, we have been in contact with someone quite locally who has got a vehicle in a premises that they have purchased. And basically, they want it gone. It's been there for potentially decades, and it has actually come with the property they've purchased. And it's actually like a sort of like a barn or outbuilding on the back of the premises. And they've asked us, would we be interested in it, in potentially buying it? And I said, yes, but we need to know what it is. And that is the problem. We don't actually know what this classic car is. It is completely buried. It is stuck in the back of a barn unit. All they can tell me is it's very, very old, and it could be, from what they've been told, might be an old Vauxhall or an imported Vauxhall, which doesn't really make much sense. But whatever it is, it has got me interested, and it is literally only just a few streets away. So we're going to go down there in a minute. Hopefully they'll be able to get access to it now because they're trying to clear a path to it. We can go in, see what this old car is, and if it is something interesting, maybe we might even have the opportunity to buy it. So that's the plan now. We're going to get ourselves off down there and see what this old car is. Right, we're here. It's literally just only around the corner. I didn't realise how close it was. We're actually in like an end terraced house, which is, I remember from years ago because used to live around here was a shop, and they've been converting it, and in the back is it's like an outbuilding slashy barn as such. It's an outbuilding, and the vehicle is in there. They're just trying to actually clear the way out so we can actually get into it because there's a bit of crap in the way. Apparently it's been in here for, well, some time, decades. It was briefly in a field at some point and then was brought here many years ago. We're not actually quite sure. Like I said, the people who bought this property have actually obviously come across the car and was aware that there was a vehicle in there and it's been left a part of the sale. So yeah, we're going to try and get in a sec and go through the main door. I'm going to show you. Right, so the vehicle in question is in this outbuilding area here to the right. We have got access via this back door here, but there are just lads inside now just clearing the way out to get to it and get the door open because it's padlocked up, and we can get in there and then hopefully try and get this main door open. But in the meantime, if we can just get through the side door and actually see what it is, because we don't actually even know what this car is. All we know is it's very, very old. The lad thinks it potentially could be an old, well, said like a Vauxhall or something similar like that, or we're not 100% sure. So I'm intrigued to know what it is, so I'm just letting them lads crack on with what they need to do, and eventually we can get inside. In fact, I'll go check on how they're getting on. Right guys, we're in. So we've cleared a path, we've got the key, there is a car in there. I have just peeked through the gap and there is a car in there. So this is the first reveal. What have we got? Oh my word. Wow, that is old. What is that? We could really do getting this door open. Wow. Look at that front sun visor. It looks almost like it's American. It's not American. I think that's no, it can't be. I think this is a Opel. Oh, not here. Olympic cap. No. Oh, it's here. The Capitan. Yes. An Opel Capitan. Of course. Must be. Yes. There you go. Where's the Opel badge on the back? Oh, it's not no badge, but the wording's still there. But you could see the remnants of the badge was. Someone's pinched it, along with the bonnet. It would seem. Yeah. That is. Well, Opel Capitan was like 50s. It looks very 50s. No number plates on it, I can see. They're gone. No engine either, which is a bit worrying. But they ran from like well, before the war, I think Opel Capitan started, and then 50s, and then in the early 60s, and I think eventually they sort of merged into the like they became the Vauxhall Senator, Opel Senator, and stuff like that. So I have seen stuff like this before. I think the ones I've seen have been a bit later than this. So this is probably, well, it's definitely 1950s. Oh God, do we dare open this door? I've got a horrible feeling there'll be rodents in here. Oh. Wow, number plate. There's a number plate. 84 Bravo Kilo Charlie. Oh, just put this torch somewhere. Oh God, I don't want to see any rats or anything. Wow. They definitely have rodents in here. Look at that dash. That would have been a well-cool car in the 1950s, with that big steering wheel and chrome dash. And it's right-hand drive as well, of course. Obviously, I mean, Opel, people think they'll be like, you look at Opel today and it'd be import vehicles, but, you know, Opel were a proper stand brand in 50s, 60s, even into the early 70s, selling right-hand drive vehicles. And obviously then eventually it all went to sort of the generic Opel Vauxhall platforms that shared everything. But yeah, I mean, look at all these bits in here. There's all sorts in there. There's bits of engine, there's bits of brake servo and all sorts in there. Amazingly, the floor, or at least the floor over there, looks quite solid. Everything else is completely gone. Just onto that phone. Really inconvenient. Yeah, that is... oh my word, look up here. Headline needs a bit of attention. Well, that is not what I was expecting to see, to be honest. I was expecting to see something like an old, like, maybe like an Opel, but like a Manta or an old Vauxhall Royale or something like that. But for an old Capitan, that was not what I was expecting to find in an old outbuilding on the downside of Crewe. Look at that front grille. I tell you what, I mean, I'll show you a picture now of what an Opel Capitan's supposed to look like. I'm assuming there is any left. I mean, God knows how many are left. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. I'm going to run that reg through. But this would have been probably a very rare car in the UK anyway. But by today, I mean, I'd be amazed if there's even less than 10, 20 of these left. I'd be amazed. I've never seen any in the UK. I mean, it's only by chance that I have a bit of an interest in old Opel cars. I knew actually what it was, although it did take me a while to work it out, and a little bit of help from the wing. Oh, anyway, I think we need to get this door open. Let's get this door open, we can have a proper look round it, and then we'll assess what we're going to do with this thing. There we go, now we're in. Have a proper look round. So, I've just been speaking to chaps who've occupying this building, and might have to know who the previous owner was. It's been in here for some years. I mean, we're talking at least 20 or so years. Obviously, they was aware it was here, and it was just sort of left. And then they've just bought the building, and it's been turned to a shop by the looks of it on the front. And obviously, they want rid of it. Give an indication of what they want for it. But now we do know what it is. It's an Opel Capitan, and I've just done a bit of digging. That registration plate does actually come back. If you put it in on the Gov website, it shows it coming up. It's showing it late 50s, it's like
between 55, 58. It looks like it's potentially a facelift from what the sort of digging I've done on it. There's only eight of these left, apparently. 4 that are actually registered, and I assume this is one of them because that number plate comes back. So yeah, anyway, it's a rare old thing. But does rare mean value? That doesn't always mean that, does it? You know, it's what would you do with it? It's we've got no engine, and I can't imagine you're going to be, you know, a mountain of spares of these. I mean, you probably will be on the continent, because obviously in Germany and places like that, and the Netherlands and stuff, I would imagine they'd sold quite a few of these. There's probably a lot of enthusiasts on the continent for these Capitans, but in the UK, if you've only got, what, potentially 4 to 8 cars in existence, you're not exactly going to be able to go on your local eBay and get yourself a bonnet or an engine for it. So it's a shame, really, but it's what would we do with it? I mean, we're tempted just to maybe put an offer in for it and just to see if we can buy it, and then maybe you send it to an auction and let someone who knows better than me, who might have some use for it. For what, I don't know. I really don't know. But it's a shame it's being left in here. It does need to. Something needs to happen to it. If it can be used for some purpose, restored, obviously is what you would love to see happen. But I mean, my word, that is some undertaking, and it's all got to stack up as well. You've either got to have passion for restoring something like that, or see the value of it being restored. And I have no idea what these are worth. I mean, I've just had a quick look online. I can't find any for sale in the UK. And why would you? There's only a handful left. I can't find any record of anyone selling one recently. There's a few on the continent, but obviously they're different. That's different kettle of fish altogether. I don't know. So we've got a bit more lighting. Let's have a look in that inside again. British tomatoes. Anyone want any tomatoes? I bet they're lovely and ripe now, them tomatoes. Oh my word, look at the cobwebs everywhere. I don't know, it might be useful for parts. I mean, I've dealt with number plates in the past, and I've had a few quid out of some, but 84 BKC doesn't really scream out of anything of significance to me, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm just trying to see what value there is in it, because it's going to be a bit of an undertaking to get this. Like how flat the tyres are, we're going to need tyres. I mean, I've driven some bad cars in my time, but tyres, that's pushing it a bit then. And then obviously it's all going to be seized up. It just could be a big can of worms, this, for very or little no reward. But then there's the other half of me's thinking, it's just a shame to leave it in here, and I'd hate it to be scrapped. It's got Angular Car Auctions written all over it, hasn't it? I really don't know what to do with this, to be honest with you, if I want to get involved with it. What I'm going to do is go home, have a think about it, and weigh up as well while we're here, because I've got a colleague with me, just to see what it would take to get it out. We'd have to, my truck is a problem because we haven't got any winch on it or anything like that, so we'd have to sort that out. We have got the ability to put a winch on it, but we have never done it for other reasons, so we'd have to sort that out to get it dragged out, and then we've got to find some sort of tyres in order to get these wheels off and get it mobile, and then try and unfree the brakes. And it's all doable, but is it worth us bothering with or not? That's the question. And I'm a bit 50-50 really. My heart wants to save it, my brain's sort of saying to me, you don't really need this hassle at the moment, and it probably commercially, businessmen in mind, probably doesn't make sense, but I don't know. Let me have a think.
Right, back at the workshop, we've had a few hours to think about the old Opel Capitan. What should we be doing with it? Well, there's a couple of reasons as to why you would buy something like that. One is for sort of passion or nostalgia, whatever it is. You know, you want to basically restore a vehicle, or you want to try and maybe flip it on, in my case, more likely to be the case, to make money out of it. Although I do like a touch of nostalgia now and then, but there are limits, so I don't think that's really something that we'd have been capable of restoring, not at any level. But we did think potentially it might be worth buying the car and seeing maybe, like I said and mentioned a few moments ago, that we could maybe send it to an auction, something like Angular, because I know they do have some right old stuff in the sales, and particularly stuff that we've seen in previous videos. If you haven't checked that out, you can see here. I've had some right restoration vehicles there, and in fairness, sometimes they can make good money. So doing a little bit of research and looking online, looking a bit more deep into it, it's a tricky one because there isn't really much to go on. There's literally none for sale currently in the UK. Like I said, there's only about 4 that are actually known to exist as registered. There's another 4 that potentially might exist, but there's 4 that are declared sold. So there are physically somewhere there is 4 more Capitans, all of different years as well. So there isn't really any market to sort of go off or compare, or there's been some for the auctions. The only thing I actually could find, ironically, was I did find another Capitan about 3 years ago that actually went through, funnily enough, where we would probably have sent this one, which is Angular Car Auctions. They had one in, as you can see in this picture here, in far, far cleaner condition than what ours is. The rats and mice have not been at this one, and it's obviously got an engine in it. Now, I don't know much more about the car, but as you can see here, it's clearly in a better state. And that only made about, well, just over $5,500. It's obviously the prices on the screen now, what it did make in the sale room. And that was a few years ago when prices were a lot more buoyant. The classic car market has had a bit of a U-turn in the last year or two. So you could argue that if that car went through again, it might even do less than that, who knows. But even if it was a sort of firm price, that's what we don't know what condition that was in, sort of properly up close, but it's certainly in better nick than the one we just witnessed. It's going to be in the range of probably a 5 or 6 grand car, which might make a really clean one 10 grand, an absolute concourse one, if such thing existed, about 15 grand. There's a few of them on the continent as well. Obviously, they were left-hand drive. Obviously, lots in Germany, some in Holland as well, obviously, where they're probably more popular. Obviously, Opel being their mainland territory in Germany. But that's not really a market to compare with, really, here in the UK. And you say they were going between sort of 10 and 25,000 euros for, really out-the-box examples. And of course, it'll be all down to models and spec and stuff like that. Look, quite simply, I think this is one of those cases where it's really unfortunate as well that it's one of those vehicles where rare doesn't necessarily mean it's valuable. And for us to dig that car out, all the work will be involved just to get it out of that a barn or outbuilding, wherever it was, an outbuilding really, get it out and get it onto a truck, get it here, and then we'd have to try and get it all freed off and rolling, etc., and then get it down to an auction, placing it in for a car that I generally think probably would do £1,500, maybe £2,000 on a good day, but I generally can't see it. I think a grand, 1,500 quid's probably where it would be at. I just think it's a lot of work for not really a great reward, although very interesting. It is just too much work for us to be getting involved with. So unfortunately, we're not going to press ahead with it. Obviously, there was a little bit about the number plate as well, a little conversation there we had with the seller and stuff, but I don't know, I don't really see that number plate of any value, and it's all really immaterial anyway, because even if the plate was worth a lot of money on it, it's stuck on a car that's clearly not got MOT on it, not like to pass MOT. It's not straightforward getting number plates off old cars, particularly when like this one, they've been off the road for probably decades and decades. They have to be put back into a certain condition, roadworthy, they get inspected. So even if it did have a value number plate on it, the only really way to relinquish that and get its value out off it, if you're going to do that, would be to restore the car. So in reality, it's not really, it's a bonus, really. It's not something that you can utilise now and earn some cash out of. So again, I don't really see any point in going down that route just to buy it from a number plate. Anyway, for us, for the work involved and the return that we'd probably get out of it, and it wasn't a few £100s this car, by the way. We were talking getting into the 1,000+ territory. I just didn't think it would be worth us doing. But I'm sure we'll come across another old vehicle soon. I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for stuff like this, and hopefully stuff we can either, maybe if it doesn't need too much work, we can actually fix up, or if it's something a little bit more sort of, how can we put it, a bit of a project, we can maybe sort of release it from where it is and get it into the market where it should be. And so ideally someone could restore an old vehicle. That's what I'd love to see happen. But anyway, it wasn't the one, this one. So if anyone is interested in that car, you're more welcome to get in touch with me, and I can get you the details of the chap who is selling that old Capitan. You can find my email address in the link description. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe to the Car UK channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.